Welcome back to the Foreign Report. I'm Seena Ghaznavi, your foreign policy curious host. Our guest host today, Travis Irvine, is remote, and in studio we have Marcus Parks, co-CEO of Last Podcast Network and co-host of Last Podcast Left, and No Dogs in Space. And you're a political mind.
Well, I like to I dabble.
You dabble.
I've been interested in it for many years. It's an interest of mine.
Get it out. Well, you picked a great time to be on the show.
Yeah. You say that every time I've been on. This is the third time I've been on the show.
It's really?
Yeah, it's like you picked a great time to be on.
Oh, God.
What this week?
Because we've been in a state of constant crisis for 110. What is it? Is it 130 days now? 140?
It's 100. Well, June 20th, or January 20th. So it's almost 6 months. Yeah,
almost 6 months. What a time. What a time.
What a time.
By the time this comes out, this is now Wednesday. I have to put timestamps on everything I say.
Of course. Wednesday, June 18th.
Wednesday, June
11:40 a.m.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah.
Last week, we put out an episode on the protests. It was really fun and all this stuff. I got to talk about it and everything like that. And then the next day, Israel attacked Iran.
Yeah.
And in your feed right now, both on the YouTube and in the podcast, you'll have a bonus episode where I talk a lot about stuff. There's a couple interviews in there. I filled in on Sirius XM this week with Ariel Lieti. So that was really fun. So I pulled an interview from there. And then we also interviewed Ambassador Joseph Manzo and talked to him a lot about Iran and everything like that. So today I wanted to continue, who would have thought, continue to talk about everything that's happening. But hopefully, I don't know, have a little bit of, I don't want to say fun, but like lowercase fun, small font size fun. Because frankly, the people of Iran have been oppressed for so long, they know how to make a joke.
Of course.
And we'll discover that today, and we'll also touch on some news, but that is also happening around the world.
Well, I think it's extraordinarily important at this time to remind everyone that, Iranians are people.
Yeah.
Like they're human beings, that they're just normal people trying to survive. And that gets lost so much in these conflicts all the time.
Thank you. This is quick to tears.
I'm sorry. I didn't have
3 minutes, Marcus.
I was just trying to support.
I'm really tired. Not as tired as the people of Iran, and especially in Tehran, that are being bombarded with missiles that the Israeli government and Bibi keep saying are going after nuclear facilities. They keep bombing civilian centers as well. And so over 200 people have died, mostly civilians, women, and children. And, my family is, as far as I know, still safe. They've been traveling abroad at the time, so thank God for that. But I want to kind of get into a few things here. First, last week we talked, or this last weekend was the Trump birthday parade, and that I learned it was produced by Pete Hegseth.
Yes.
And as Travis and I love to say, boy, that's bad producing.
It was so bad. My favorite thing so far has been how, like, the TV presenter in Trump, like the TV, like how pissed off he was that he hired a military guy to produce what he thought was going to be his big strong boy moment. And he was so mad that it was goofy.
It was trash.
It was total trash. Those costumes were terrible.
Terrible. He thought the soldiers were supposed to be menacing.
Yeah.
And like very intimidating. They were in there, from what I gathered, and it was great being on Sirius on Monday because a lot of veterans called in and were like, first of all, they should have been in their like show attire, like their fancy gear. They were in the fatigues that they pull out of the trunk.
Yeah.
And the fact that they didn't have a side person telling them on the march was also a huge red flag. Some of them were marching out of step as a sign of silent protest. And then others were just having a good time, which really upset Trump, according to Michael Wolff, who is like the tea queen of this administration. And so why am I bringing all of this up? Not just to talk about how bad of a producer Pete Hegseth is, but that this weekend was that disastrous birthday, but it was also the G7, and he went to Canada. And I believe, if you read the news, Trump just yesterday, I believe, Tuesday, said that they'd be open to striking Iran.
Yes.
And I was like, oh, guys, like, can it get worse? Maybe? Yes, it's going to get worse. And I noticed this post from Anonymous, Uranon Central, that kind of summarized how humiliated Trump was this weekend, both in the birthday and at the G7.
And not just that, but also the fact that an estimated, 11 million people came out for the No Kings protest?
Yes, nationwide. Yeah, nationwide.
I have read conflicting reports that it was close to the largest nationwide protest we've ever had, but it's at the very least number 3.
Oh,
so like
top
three largest protest to ever come out and say, "Hey, you suck."
This is incredible. And so I want to kind of go through this thing because if there's one thing that insecure, quote, strongmen do, is that when they're perceived as weak, they will do something to make sure that people perceive them as strong.
Yeah.
And for me, again, I'm just your local foreign policy curious host. I am not an expert, but for me, knowing insecure talent when I see one, this guy said this because he was the one that told Bibi, don't bomb Iran.
Yeah.
I would like to try diplomacy. It's bad for business. For his whole base does not want war with Iran.
I mean, it's not just his nobody in America wants war with Iran.
Well, it's funny you say that, Marcus.
I think it was like 56% of Republicans, which for Republicans, like 56% is massive. It's huge.
Right.
And it's not even that far from the Democrats.
Right. I mean, that's what Trump campaigned on, right? I never started any wars in his first administration. He's a peace candidate, quote unquote.
I mean, you could argue that the Iraq War is what enabled Trump to take over the Republican Party.
Right.
Is because the Republicans felt so betrayed and were so pissed off when they found out that, oh no, that was a lie. That was
huge scam.
Huge scam. that was a massive scam.
Fraudster season 99. That is 100% accurate, and the contingent of people that do want this are, of course, the neocons, and like the Rudy Giulianis of the world.
Yeah, the John Boltons.
Oh
my God.
But it's also a lot of Iranians in the diaspora.
Yeah.
And there's a contingent, and I talked about this on the bonus episode, it's so frustrating and I think very naive to think that, and there's a lot, and I understand the bloodlust and the thirst to get vengeance.
Sure.
And we'll touch on this a little bit later with some clips that I have, but it is so wrong to think that all we got to do is kill a few more people and Iran will be free. And at what cost? Sure, the regime guys are going. Great. That's great. No one wants them. It is good that they're gone. But there's also innocent people. Yeah. Hundreds of innocent people have also been killed. So at what cost? When does it end? Have we ever seen since World War II, like airstrikes that lead to regime change and peace?
Never.
No.
I'll take a minute. Take a minute, Marcus. I think you should
run through my foreign wars.
Feel free
to really
Google
think about it. Really think about it.
AI answer? No.
Vietnam.
No.
Vietnam. Yeah, definitely not Vietnam.
No.
No. Great. We did our thinking.
Right.
Due diligence done. So here we are. And
Syria? No.
Syria?
No, not that.
Libya?
Worse than ever.
No. Let me show you this post from Anon that was really good, that kind of summed up all the embarrassments that Trump has been experiencing. First up here. So first, Trump's G7, and if there's video or images, I'll try to describe it for the audio audience, of course. Trump's G7 humiliation summarized. After a disastrous birthday with millions of people protesting him in a military parade with low turnout and mediocre marching, which is the
mediocre marching. Wow.
Mediocre marching.
And an embarrassment. Yeah, that sounds like a Brooklyn hipster band, Mediocre Marching.
Mediocre Marching. We are Mediocre Marching. We only cost $45 million to come to play your birthday party.
So after the terribly produced parade and his birthday party, embarrassed Donald Trump embarked to Canada for the Group of Seven summit.
He is looking bad.
And then there's the first thing that happens is he meets the first round of, this is from Anonymous as well, the first round of Trump's humiliation tour in Canada was when he was met by a Canadian Indigenous leader, Stephen Crowchild, who had a lengthy discussion with him. Crowchild spoke of peace and protecting water for future generations. This upset racist Trump. And the video is an Indigenous Canadian guy with a full headgear.
Oh, yeah.
The feathers, the works, the front he's got the necklaces, the full regalia, and he is just gripping Trump and talking to him about water. And
That's crazy.
If there's anything that is going to piss him off, it's like, why am I in this conversation?
Right. I'm sure Trump assumed that he was with the village people. Like, oh, hold on. You're supposed to be singing me my favorite song.
And then the second round of Trump's humiliation was when PM Carney, Canadians PM, cut him off mid-rant as Trump started to ramble fascist rhetoric against U.S. citizens. Trump's microphone was cut off as he stood there looking impotent and angry.
Yes.
By the way, you know what we call that? Good producing. Okay, so like let's play that audio.
All Democrat-run cities, and they think they're going to use them to vote. It's not going to happen.
That's it. Thank you. If you don't mind, I'm going to exercise my role, if you will, as G7 chair, since we have a few more minutes with the president and his team, and then we actually have to start the meeting to address some of these big issues. So
Thank you.
Thank you, media. Let's go. Up. Thank you.
That's it. Thank you very much. Out. Go, guys.
Look, and he's trying to talk. Mike is cut.
Katie,
Mike is cut.
It's just incredible to see another world leader just say, like, you know what? No, I'm not going to fucking deal with this shit. I'm not on my time, not on my fucking soil. I'm not going to listen to this shit anymore. And I love that.
The third round of Trump's humiliation came as he acted as a spokesperson for Russia and rambled that Putin only talked to him. He ranted about Obama and Trudeau, blaming them for ousting Russia from the G8. In reality, Russia was kicked out for invading Crimea, Ukraine, in 2014. We won't play that audio because it's kind of boring.
Yeah.
Frankly, you've heard him say all of these things before.
Yeah.
Right.
So here's the next one. And this is, I wish you should watch the YouTube or watch this online. The fourth round of Trump's humiliation came from Italy's Meloni and France's Macron, who began having a whispered conversation as soon as Trump sat down. Trump felt humiliated, thinking they were talking about him, and was visibly trying not to look upset. So look, you can see this. Meloni is leaning over. Macron's got his fist up to his mouth, whispering something to Meloni, and here it comes. She looked at him shocked. She gives him the thumbs up. And then here comes my favorite part. Meloni, the Italian. Notorious Italians are very, minimal facial expressions is what you think of when you think of Italians like this. And Meloni, can we see the eye roll here in 3, 2, 1, and there it is. She's like, oh my God, hard eye roll.
That's an Italian eye roll right there.
Yeah.
Holy moly.
The fifth round of Trump. Yeah,
what
sorry,
do you guys
go ahead,
think they were saying? Do we have any speculation at all? I mean, I would assume Macron's just, he wears a diaper. You know that. You can smell it from over here. Do you smell it? It's about to come. You smell it? There it is. It's a spicy diaper.
The fifth round of
I don't even know why they were whispering. Like, just speak any language other than English, and he's not going to know what the fuck you're talking about.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about that. Also, what's funny is Meloni is extremely conservative. She is like very fascist friendly. And like the fact that she's eye rolling Trump is again a chef's kiss.
Well, he's just turned into this weird old man that everyone has to deal with.
Yes,
and that everyone has to deal with. And it's not just he's a weird old man. He is the leader of the most powerful country on earth. That is despite everything, America is still very important.
Yeah.
And you have to go through America to get a lot of shit done. And instead of dealing with a statesman, you have to deal with some weird old fuck that is so particular and strange. He's just fucking a strange man.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the fifth round of Trump's humiliation came when the leaders mentioned a statement calling for de-escalation between Israel and Iran. Trump took offense to this move as the current situation between Israel and Iran is entirely his fault. Refused to call for de-escalation. Okay, so everyone's just like ganging up on him.
Yeah.
And then who could beat this? This is a picture of Trump dozing off. The sixth round of Trump's humiliation happened when a picture of the meeting began circulating on social media showing the elderly Trump falling asleep in the middle of the meeting. This embarrassed Trump even more after people online started referring to him as Don Old. D-O-N-O-L-D.
In his defense, he just had a very wild birthday.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? He's been up all day.
He just sat through the most boring military parade in human history.
I mean, if you really wanted to get somebody to do a military parade, poach a North Korean.
Yeah.
Get someone, those guys know how to throw a military parade.
There are references you could use. Also, parades like the Kansas City Chiefs, the New York Yankees. Get their producers on board here. Yep. You could put together. Folks, it's America. We know how to produce a parade.
Yeah.
Right.
This shouldn't be that difficult. The seventh round of Trump's humiliation happened shortly after he struck a deal with the UK. Trump, growing increasingly senile, believed that the UK deal was with the EU, and then he dropped all the papers on the ground, and they're trying to scramble. And then when he picks up the papers in the folio, he opens the folio to show people the deal, and it's just blank pages because everything had just fallen on the ground. And so, he sees all this stuff. He sees everyone talking about him. And then the eighth round is when he left the G7 early. He boarded a plane and left early. So that's like hilarious.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the last bit of humiliation is he said something mean about Macron. That was like, Macron said that President Trump left to go handle the ceasefire between Israel and Iran, which is actually a compliment, which is what Macron was doing here.
He's trying to
giving him cover.
Yeah.
And then Trump said he has no idea why I am now on my way to Washington, but it certainly has nothing to do with a ceasefire. Well, great. I'm glad you're not trying to stop a war. And then this other picture is Macron standing next to his soldiers, impeccably dressed.
Wow.
I tell you what, these Frenchies look way more menacing than our people.
Sharp.
No mediocre marching there, boys.
And it's just so stupid.
Well, I mean, Trump doesn't even know what the hell he's going back for. I mean, his last statement to the press, he said, I may bomb Iran, I may not bomb Iran. Quote, and this is a direct quote, nobody knows what I'm going to do.
Yes, nobody knows what. And you know what? That's the most honest thing he's ever said.
Wow, there you go.
Really is.
And you know who he said that to? Himself in the mirror. He looked at himself in the mirror. He said, nobody knows what I'm going to do. And his reflection smiled right back at him. Oh, my God. Okay, so then that was Trump's embarrassment. Maybe we'll take a quick break right now and then come back. And I've got stuff from Tucker Carlson. I've got a New York Times writer that I want to put on blast a little bit. And then I've got some clips of Iranians doing hilarious things.
Great.
Which is... Just come back. You'll see what I mean. That sounds weird. I know. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Foreign Report. I'm Seena Ghaznavi. Marcus Parks is with us in studio. Travis Irvine in the virtual studio. We just talked about Trump's multiple, just wildly embarrassing weekend.
Trump's very bad, no good weekend.
Yeah.
Birthday weekend, no less. 79, feeling fine.
And he has said that they'd be open to using strikes against Iran, which, by the way, just on like a more military note on that point, when they say strikes, what they're really talking about is the 30,000-pound bunker-busting bomb that can only be used with our B-2 bomber that can ship that thing, and that's a stealth bomber. So that's what's concerning, by the way, about this. Israel is firing their ballistic missiles and stuff like that they bought from us, which, by the way, are very wildly available on the open market. So if we didn't sell them those missiles, they would get them from someone else. Maybe they would get a better or worse deal from somebody else. But at the same time, we are complicit in this war as Americans. I don't know what percentage of our dollars go to it.
Oh no, this is the same argument that bad parents make when they let their teenagers drink in the basement. It's like, well, at least I can keep an eye on them.
Yeah, but just like those parents, they don't do anything.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is Tucker Carlson talking to Senator Ted Cruz. And oh my God, I can't believe this is this the first time, Travis, we're playing Tucker Carlson on this show? It might be.
I think we've referenced him certainly in interviews he's done with other Republicans, neocons, because Tucker is firmly in that don't start any new wars camp, right, of the Republican Party. But he's also been ostracized from Fox News and lives in his own little Tucker Carlson bubble, which is where I think this is the first time we're going in to the Tucker Carlson bubble.
However, it is a large bubble.
It is a very big bubble.
Very influential bubble.
And so I want you to hear Tucker. I'm very tired. And I can't believe I'm in a Twilight Zone episode where I'm like, guys, look at Tucker Carlson. He's making a lot of sense and he's putting Ted Cruz on blast. And I should, again, I said this before the show started. I don't think Celsius is good for me. Although I wish they would sponsor the show. I'm vibrating right now. Okay, here we go. This is Ted Cruz and Tucker Carlson. It's a 90-second clip, so stick with us. Don't throw your phone or crash your car if you're listening.
How many people live in Iran, by the way? I don't know the population.
Oh, God.
No, I don't know the population. You don't know the population of the country you seek to topple? How many people live in Iran? 92 million. Okay.
Okay. All right. Just Wikipedia that.
How could you not know that?
Oh,
I don't sit around memorizing population tables. Well, it's kind of relevant because you're calling for the overthrow of the government. Why is it relevant whether it's 90 million or 80 million or 100 million? Why is that?
You could have even said 80 million.
I didn't say I don't know anything about
Okay, what's the ethnic mix of Iran?
They are Persians and
Oh, is that right?
Okay, this is cute.
It's not even. You don't know anything about Iran. So
okay, I am not the Tucker Carlson expert on Iran.
You're a senator who's calling for the overthrow of the government.
You're the one who
don't know anything about the country.
No, you don't know anything about the country. You're the one who claims they're not trying to murder Donald Trump. You're the
I'm
one
not saying that.
Who can't figure out if it was a good idea to kill General Soleimani, and you said it was bad.
You don't believe they're trying to murder Trump.
Yes, I do.
Because you're not calling for military strikes against them in retaliation. And if you really believe that,
we're carrying out military strikes today.
You said Israel was.
Right, with our help. I'm saying we. Israel is leading them, but we're supporting them.
Well, you're breaking news here because the U.S. government last night denied, the National Security Council spokesman Alex Pfeiffer denied on behalf of Trump that we were acting on Israel's behalf in any offensive capacity.
No, we're not bombing them. Israel's bombing them.
I want to jump out of a window.
We are supporting
Israel.
Israel.
High stakes. You're a senator. If you're saying the United States government is at war with Iran right now, people are listening.
Okay.
I just came.
I just can't handle it. It's too crazy.
I mean, I do have to give Tucker Carlson credit for standing his ground, and I think this is going to be a massive test for the Republican Party because this administration is pushing very, very hard for military intervention in Iran, and that has been that's been their big, let's call it their bugaboo, for many a year now, is no foreign wars, no interventionism, and this is, I mean. If we can't, I mean, what is the plan? Like, what?
I'll tell you, the plan was Trump was going to let Bibi do a thing, but just say, I'm not going to get involved.
Yeah.
And that's what Marco Rubio put out that statement. Yeah, Travis?
Yeah, he said, remember we played that clip when he told the press outright, he says, Israel's going to lead this invasion.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And he's going to let them do their thing. But now he's getting pulled in. We saw a preview of this battle between neocons and the non-interventionists during Signalgate.
Yes, exactly right. And Mike Waltz was kicked out not just because of Signalgate, but because he was also actually colluding with Bibi about this strike, and they were helping each other out. And there's other people that were also ejected from the administration because they were plotting with Bibi to do this strike, which, by the way, is over 2 decades old, Bibi's mission to bomb Iran.
Yeah.
Yes. And it is just crazy to me. And how did this happen, by the way? Just so if you haven't listened to the bonus episode, but I just want to say it in this space as well. Very similar to why Hamas attacked on October 7th, because Israel and Saudi Arabia were about to normalize relations. Bibi did this to scuttle the entire negotiations for the Iran deal 2.0, because Trump said, I'm going in on Sunday. We're going to go try to make a deal. Don't bomb them. And Bibi said, the proxies are weak. I've got all these plans. I'm going in. And he just did it.
Yeah.
And now, where are the negotiations now? Is this really the art of the deal?
I don't think he has anything to do with it.
No.
He has absolutely nothing to do with it. I mean, the messaging is totally off because, the whole, from what I understand, the justification for doing this is a preemptive strike to prevent Iran from developing nuclear weapons.
Yes.
And Tulsi Gabbard on March 25th came right out and said very explicitly, we do not believe that Iran is developing nuclear weapons. She did say like, people are talking now.
Yeah.
Like they're talking about it. They're talking about it more than they used to, like kind of hedging her bets a little bit. But the WMD argument that doesn't hold water.
And I think the thing that I'm even troubled by from what her statement is that what we do know is that they were enriching uranium past 60%.
Yeah.
And that's beyond civilian use. So there's really only one eventual use for that. But then you also have to weaponize it and do all these other things to actually make a weapon, right? A nuclear bomb. And so there was plenty of time for diplomacy. And if you listen to the interview with Ambassador Joseph Manso, I actually asked him point blank what the international law says that a preemptive strike is a very specific thing. That's why the corporate media and everyone was using this phrase preemptive strike, because it means that, like Jack Bauer 24 style, a bomb was about to, or an attack was about to happen imminently, and there's no chance of diplomacy, no chance of talking. And that was not the case here.
No.
And so this is a preventative strike, which is illegal, which is an act of aggression, which is fundamentally a problem. Of course, Israel's going to say, well, the time that Iran had to make a nuclear weapon was constantly shortening and shortening and shortening. But it's like, so, fine. And Iran always says that they want to wipe Israel off the face of the earth. Well, they also say America's the devil or whatever, and they want to great Satan. Yeah, you got it. And it's like, well, we didn't go. We're not bombing Iran, right? Because they said all those things. I mean, I get the perspective. I can empathize with the perspective, but it's still illegal, right?
Well, from what I've read, I mean, this is the culmination of decades of, Israel just finally doing what it always wanted to do.
Yeah.
Always just going out and like where people are talking shit, people are, threatening to punch our nose. They got their nose punched real hard on October 7th, and then just decided after that, we're going to do whatever we want. And we're going to do whatever we think is going to be, we're going to do whatever we think is necessary to protect Israel, and to hell with how many civilians get killed.
Yeah.
Right.
And international law doesn't apply. Yeah, go ahead.
And I'll just chime in with, I saw something on the internet that somebody is commenting that Iran has been 2 weeks away from developing a nuclear weapon for the last 30 years, right? That's always the talking point. But
really
you did bring it up, Seena, that I still follow former Congressman Dennis Kucinich, who was always a anti-war progressive, especially when the Iraq war kicked off, 20 plus years ago. And he even said that Bibi Netanyahu told him point blank in a committee that Israel needed the U.S. to be a part of any type of Iran invasion. And so now Bibi is finally, as we've said before on this show, fished his wish decades later.
So what is the end game here with Israel? Is that because I keep seeing Ayatollah Khamenei saying there's no chance for unconditional surrender.
Yeah.
But what is he surrendering to? Like ending a nuclear program?
The nuclear program is what the presumption, the presumed surrender would be. We're going to abandon the nuclear enrichment.
And Israel is presumably just going to, at this point, their plan is to just keep bombing the country until the Ayatollah says we're not going to have a nuclear program anymore.
That is the presumption, or in conjunction with that. And this is why they're bombing civilian centers, is because
that was going to be my other questions. Like I saw that they're bombing these, but they're bombing civilian centers in Tehran as well. Why?
Because, well, first the regime officials have apartments there, so they were bombing those buildings with those. And oddly enough, they were somewhat surgical with some of them, which I don't know where that surgical strike capability was in Gaza.
Yeah.
I didn't see any of that. But if you look at some of these buildings have fallen. Again, plenty of innocent lives have been lost. But I think the subtext of these strikes in civilian centers is the populace of the Iranian people hate their regime.
Yeah.
They hate their government. And so he's literally trying to force their hand, saying, go have a revolution. But here's the problem. if I'm in Tehran and I'm like, oh man, let's go have a revolution. How do I know if I walk outside of my house, I'm not going to get hit with an Israeli rocket?
Yeah.
How am I supposed to know? When am I supposed to do that? It takes a lot of organization or even a lot of mobilization of people all feeling the same thing at the same time, all coming together. But there's no gas in Tehran right now.
Yeah.
There's a water problem. There was a huge flooding in Tehran right now because of the strikes. People are fleeing the city. There's either incredibly bad traffic to even get out. I'm talking paralyzing levels of traffic. So people are stuck. Okay, and there are, I don't know how many millions, over 15 million people in the surrounding area, like the broader metro area of Tehran. We're talking older people, children, the sick. I mean, these are...
I didn't know it was that populous.
Oh,
15
yeah,
million.
yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah, so it's crazy. And then I think in Iran, it's 8.7 million in Tehran.
Wow.
And then it's 16 outside of the city. But in the urban, and there's military installations that they are bombing just outside of the city. So everyone is getting bombarded. So and again, I talked about this a little bit with the ambassador, but it's either the nuclear program stops, or the nuclear program stops and there's a revolution, or the nuclear program gets back to some sort of reset level and the regime stays in power, which is the worst situation. And then what also could happen is that more bombardments would happen. Iran could escalate. Let's say they could close the Strait of Hormuz, and then that way oil markets would be infected. That way, that would bring other people in. Right now, you don't have other people are the Gulf states are like, you guys keep doing what you're doing. Yeah. We don't really technically either of you guys. Turkey's making their ballistic missiles. They're growing their arsenal a little bit because they think he's a strong man as well. He's an insecure one, and so he's doing that. So the end game is very difficult to see because it really depends on what level of escalation things happen. Again, here we are on Wednesday, and we just have a lot of talk from Donald Trump, and we have a lot of people putting pieces in play while they still trade rocket fire.
Yeah.
Let me go to this one thing, this New York Times piece. There's a writer at the New York Times. Her name is Farnaz Fassisi. Apologies if I'm mispronouncing her name. I don't really care, frankly. She has been super problematic.
In that case, just mispronounce her name as much as you want.
Yeah.
So the the New York Times. So there's this whole thing, and I was talking about the people that want Iran to. Want Israel to bomb Iran. Right. There's also a faction of people that are anti-war, great, but also cozy up to the regime. So they're the ones that are like Trita Parsi. If you have ever seen him speak on TV, he does a lot of cable news shows. They want to make the Islamic Republic still stay in power, open up them economically a little bit. Maybe their nuclear program is not making a nuclear weapon, but they're still in power, which I said is the worst thing because the Iranian people would still be suffering at that point. So there's a huge contingent, not a huge, but there's a good, powerful contingent that are paid by the Islamic Republic. And I don't know if Farnaz is, but she has reported multiple times in ways that are very deferential and very much like, hey, these are just nice guys trying to do the right thing.
Basically, we'll look the other way on human rights just so long as you like capitalism.
Exactly. The cultural relativism to its absolutely awful end, right? And so this article, great-grandson of Islamic Republic's founder, was in streets as Israel fired on Tehran. Already, that headline makes you think, wow, the great-grandson of the Islamic Republic's founder, those are very powerful words. In the streets, that's where we all were for the No Kings protest, guys. And Israel fired on Tehran. Israel, the country, firing on a city. Think about all these words that she was using there. And there's a picture of him speaking, and the one kind of paragraph that I want to call out. And this is now the third paragraph in the story, right? And it's all about how Saeed Ahmed Khomeini is a junior cleric, and he was doing a telephone interview with the New York Times.
Could you say that name again?
Saeed Ahmed Khomeini.
Nice.
No, it's just nice to hear.
Now that's a name you say right. Very good.
It's just pleasant on the ear.
And I've got a bad accent, so the Iranians are going to be like, he actually butchered it. I think it's Khomeini. I don't know. It's whatever. Give me some slack. So this is the quote that he gave, again, in the third paragraph that I don't think people are going to clock. And he said, I want to say is that we will remain in Tehran. We will not leave this land. Even if we have to sacrifice every ounce of our blood, like a soldier, we will fight, said Mr. Khomeini. The enemy has made a massive mistake if it thinks it can dislodge this revolution. Now, the word there that is most important is revolution.
Yeah.
Because it speaks to the mental state of this regime, that since 1979, they still believe this is a Shiite global revolution, that they need to spread this ideology.
It just hasn't caught on yet?
Bro, the revolution could end. It's been a minute. You've been in power for a while. Really? You're still revolting? Still? Take a break, maybe?
Yeah.
And so this is what she kind of glosses over.
Yeah.
And this is what I have such a problem with. And then you have to wait until you get all the way down to almost like the last quarter or fifth of this. Iranians have staged nationwide demonstrations, most recently in 2022, that were led by women and young girls following the death of Mahsa Amini, a 22-year-old who died in the custody of country's morality police on allegations of violating hijab rules, which mandate that women and girls cover their hair and bodies. The government has brutally crushed protests, blocked reforms, and jailed and killed hundreds of protesters. The demonstrators have chanted death to dictator and participated in daily acts of collective civil disobedience, like women not wearing hijabs in public. So that's the third to last paragraph. And yes, you may say, well, she balanced it out at the end. But let's be honest. What is the attention span of someone reading something in this breaking news kind of cycle? I mean, this is my biggest problem with an author like this, is that she will go and basically give cover and give sympathy and project sympathy for a regime that is awful.
Yeah.
All that being said, it is illegal that Israel attacked them. And
yeah. I didn't. Also, another thing that jumped out at me from that statement that you read was his use of the word "we."
Yes.
You know, like that we will
yeah.
fight.
Eric, thank you.
Like, we will fight to the last man, to the last drop of blood. It's like, who the fuck is we?
We.
Like
you yourself?
We some fucking dude who works at an electronics store in Tehran?
Yeah.
Like, you're expecting him to fight for the last drop of blood for your fucking revolution?
And what he means is that he will sacrifice everyone in Tehran.
Yes. But no. See, he was in the streets.
He was in the streets.
He was in the streets. He's there.
In the streets. All right, let's take a quick break, and then we're going to end the show with some fun stuff. Gosh, this is, producer Danielle, I didn't think this was going to go that long, so thank you. I know you wrote some stories. All right, let's take a quick break, and we'll be right back. Welcome back to the Forum Report. I'm Seena Ghaznavi, Marcus Parks, Travis Irvine with us in the in-studio and virtual studio. We're talking about Iran. I'm going to bring up some clips that I'm seeing on the internet because many of you don't have my algorithm. Mm-hmm. And my algorithm now is very much all Iran all the time. And it is impressive to see the amount of, first of all, I really have to improve my Farsi. It is lacking in many areas. So I'm doing my best for that. But I wanted to share some videos of people talking and then that I think will really encapsulate everything. This first one's serious, and then we'll give you some tips. And then there's a couple of funny ones that I want to talk about. Yeganeh is her name, and she kind of encapsulates everything that's happening right now, and I think the sentiment that I have about Iran really well. So let's play this.
Hey guys, I wanted to make a video about Iran and put all of my thoughts into one video. So as you guys know, I was born in Iran. I have a lot of family in Iran. And my family had to leave and wanted to leave because of the persecution of the regime in Iran. I stand completely against the regime, the Islamic Republic of Iran. However, our liberation, our revenge, does not come from Israel. Freedom does not come from Western forces throwing bombs on us. We as Iranians have seen people hung from cranes, targeted by our own regime, and then we're supposed to sit back and thank Israel for coming in? the same murderous regime that is starving innocent civilians in Palestine. By the way, during this time, all of our feeds are covered with Iran, Iran, Iran. There is a complete media outage in Gaza. None of these things are a coincidence, and acknowledging it does not take away from Iran. I wanted to add something else. If you have the desire to cover what's going on in Iran, please make sure you fact check. Please do not just post that, this residential building in this area got attacked and you don't even know where that is or what building that is, or you might have outdated videos or information. It is so harmful as Iranians to come onto TikTok and see something so frightening and think we lost our family members, only to find out it's a white person who doesn't know what that town is called and just says, oh, this place was attacked. Secondly, if you're covering this, do not call our regime members martyrs. Do not call the people who have taken innocent Iranian, Syrian lives and make videos praying for them. You can pray for Iranians. You can pray for the country of Iran. We don't need your prayer for the people that have hung us from cranes. If you disagree with me, that is fine. We don't need to even discuss. You could just block me, unfollow me. However, I stand against Israeli intervention in Iran. I also stand against the regime in Iran, and our liberation comes from ourselves, not from some US-backed monster coming and bombing us.
So that's right. I think that's a very poignant video that sums it up really, really well.
And she's absolutely right about, like Gaza being out of the news right now. Like I just read, it was... God, let's see here. This was yesterday. An Israeli forces opened fire on a bunch of Palestinians waiting for food. Killed 59 people.
Yeah.
Wounded 221, and they were just waiting for food. Yeah. And there was no. As far from what I tried to look to see if there was maybe like even the IDF is like saying we don't know what happened.
Yeah.
And they just. It's continuing, and it's fucking insane.
It is
how much
insane.
is still going on,
and I don't know how to we continuously see Israeli official coming on television, and I've seen it all over the place, just saying this is not happening, and it's like that's so gaslighting to see that all the time. Okay, we've got over 40 minutes of very heavy material here, and I want to also express my sense of humor that fits so well here at LPN. Is not by accident. It's because my parents came from Iran, and the sense of humor of an oppressed people is incredible.
Dark?
It's dark. It's dark. Thank you. It is dark. It is last podcast dark.
Yeah.
And so some of the stuff that I've seen is just cracking me up. And even in these moments of absolute fright, and there's so many people in Tehran that I'm hearing that are just terrified because they don't know what's going to happen next. This one guy keeps sending voice memos to Bibi over Instagram, and I'm going to try my best to translate what he's saying. And I'll say this. The creativity of the curse words that so many Iranians have eclipses my ability to understand it, but get ready.
The curses that come from the Middle East are incredible.
Get ready. Strap in, Marcus. Strap in.
I would fill your mother's vagina with feces.
Oh, how did you know? Did you see this video? Did you see this video?
It's classic comedy.
Okay, so real fast. Okay, he said MFer, dick in your wife's child. Another slur for gay people. Okay, 3 days I've been trying to, he's saying 3 days I've been trying to see my girlfriend and I can't because of you. Dick in your mouth. Oh, God. In your face? Stick in your face? You're a donkey. I can't see my girlfriend because I think he said because her kid is sick and scared.
I mean, donkey that's an insult that we don't use enough in
No,
America.
there's a lot of donkey stuff. Okay. And then, so then this is another one. It's more of a visual joke, but I'll just let it play for you, Marcus, so you can see it. Then I'll explain it for the audio listeners. There's a lot of smoke, destruction. He's zooming in on the smoke.
And there's someone barbecuing.
And then it's a man, and then he goes on to say, it's like, you can't stop a Persian from making kebab. So it's like shot after shot of like destruction, smoke billowing, and then a guy on his roof, smoke billowing from his grill. And there's like another video I saw that I forgot to save. I wish I did. There was a line out the door of an ice cream shop, and a guy was driving by filming it. And he's like, there's no one at the grocery store, but there's a line out the door for ice cream.
Well, when things are hard, you need a little treat.
Oh my God, I ate ice cream all weekend. It was weird. When I saw that, I was like, oh my God, I am Persian. Jesus.
But that goes back to the humanity of it all.
Yeah.
Like it really does. You know, like these people are going through something absolutely horrible, and they want the same comforts that you and I want. The same comforts that every single person on earth wants. We're all the fucking same.
And we all stress eat.
Yeah, we all stress eat. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to think of this show as the ice cream of foreign policy shows in the manosphere.
Oh, that's very sweet. The number one foreign policy show of ice cream. Okay, I think that covers everything I wanted to say today. Do you guys have any questions?
So many questions. I'll fire them off. I'll send them to you in an email, though.
I mean, I guess my only question is like, do you see any positive path here? Like any way that this could possibly work out to the advantage of the Iranian people?
The only way is if they are able to mobilize once the dust settles, because they literally can't go out and mobilize right now because there's rockets, active war happening.
But how would they? I guess that's also the big question. Is it, like what the words I've been hearing about Iran, like to describe Iran as a military power over and over again in the last few days, is paper tiger.
Yeah.
I've been hearing paper tiger over and over again. How do the people have the power to overthrow the government? How do they gain that power?
So here's the thing. This is why it didn't work before, okay? Because
meaning like Arab Spring?
Yeah, no, the Green Revolution, and even 2022 with the Masa Amini protests and the revolution there, or the attempted revolution. Those two times, they were able to bring in, first of all, they just straight up shoot people.
Yeah.
And what they also do is they would bring in Hezbollah members to shoot people. And so they would literally kill their own populace when they would rise up.
So I'm confused. The people who are rising up would bring in Hezbollah, or the Islamic
Islamic Republic
would bring in Hezbollah?
Yeah, exactly. They would bring in their own proxies to kill their own people. And so when the Iranians would be in the streets and they'd be like, "Hey, Hezbollah's here," or Lebanese mercenaries, let's say, "I don't want to protest anymore. I don't want to get shot."
Yeah.
And so that's what happens. That's how it stops. Now, there's a potential with the proxies degraded significantly, the regime literally fleeing Tehran and fleeing the country, presumably, that maybe they would be able to rise up. But that's still, I think, extraordinarily naive, because the system that they have created is so ingrained.
Yeah.
They have so much hierarchy that even if you take out these regime officials, more will come in. So I think it would take a much more collectively mobilized effort to rise up against the regime and literally flood and just take over and just come in. We would probably need someone to have boots on the ground.
Yeah.
And this is why it's just a mess. This is why their hand has been forced. And so ideally, maybe the United Nations would be a peacekeeping force, but that's not going to happen.
No.
I think the Security Council has to vote unanimously, and you're not going to get something like that done. So,
is there any other Middle Eastern country, because Iran's a problem for fucking everyone.
Yeah.
Like, is there any Middle Eastern country that might come in and help?
Help who?
The people of Iran.
No one cares about them.
Okay, all right.
No, bro.
All right.
Yeah. Last podcast network ago.
Yeah, oh, cool.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. By the way, to the people, like a quick little message to the people that are happy about these bombings, that are in the diaspora, that are like, I'm happy that the regime is getting wiped out and that these bombs should continue so that the Iranian people will be free. I invite you to buy a ticket to Iran and go have some tea in Iran and wait for the bombs to drop.
Yes.
Because if you like them so much, go check it out. Go check it. Get a front row seat.
Yeah.
I don't think you're going to do that. I think you're probably going to sit in your mansion in Beverly Hills.
Ooh. Well said.
On that note, you know the deal, guys. like and subscribe. It feels weird asking people to like and subscribe now, but it is the business we've chosen. Subscribe to us on YouTube.
It's the 21st century. It's the 21st century version of we'll be right back. We'll be right back after these messages.
Oh my God. Reach out. I will say this. Reach out to your Iranian friends. They would like to be checked in on. And if they do say they're happy about the bombs in Iran, just let them do their thing. You don't have to. Don't be like, I heard a podcast. Please don't. You don't want that in your life. We're hot-headed people. Anyways, who would have thought? Marcus, thank you so much for being on.
Thanks
I really
for having
appreciate
me.
it.
It's always a pleasure.
Yeah, and Travis, thank you for calling in, my man. It's great to see you. Also with your Islamic Republic beard. I don't know. We got to do something about that.
Oh, don't you worry. I'm just trying to fit in when I go have tea in Tehran.
As always, send us an email. Again, the YouTube channel's been going great. I love the comments on Spotify. I'm engaging with people there and on the YouTube channel. I did a post, and on the bonus episode, I answered a bunch of people's questions. So thank you all for that. And hopefully between Wednesday and Friday when this episode drops, a bomb doesn't drop on Iran. Oh, God. We have to end the show. We've got to end the show.
Let's just make sure live updates.
Oh, yeah,
live updates.
IDF chief details third wave of targets in Iran.
Okay, probably something bad is going to happen between now and then. All right, great. Thanks. This is
and Trump's having a meeting downstairs in an hour.
Oh,
downstairs?
That was 5 minutes ago.
Okay.
His big update. No one knows what I'm going to do.
Big update in the mirror to himself. All right, guys. Thank you so much. We'll see you next time.